Let's get those nerds! Nerds!
What's up, nerds? Welcome back to Them Nerds. Today we are here to talk with you about the upcoming episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Give a little preview as we get into episode 4. Jerry, episode 3, pretty good one, right?
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, so we left off in some interesting little spots. Let's talk about each of the main characters and kind of where they left off, and that'll lead us into what's going to happen in the upcoming episode. Yeah. So when we last left our unlikely trio of I guess not all three of them are heroes, but they were all three together: Bucky, Sam, and Helmet Zemo, aka Dancing Zemo. Hashtag release the Dancing Zemo cut. They had left Madripoor, and they had arrived in some European city. We assume it was Latvia, based on some maps we saw during the show. And Bucky went for a walk, and who did he encounter, Jerry?
Yeah, you do this to me every single time. Like I'm going to be able to say these people's names. He went ahead and ran into a Wakanda warrior. How about that?
There you go. Yes. He ran into a warrior from Wakanda. I'm not even going to say the name. How about that? None of us will say
it's like Oya or something. I don't know.
Dora Milaje. There I said
she is. She's actually when they first started introducing the characters from Black Panther, and she was one of the first characters that was actually introduced into the MCU. I think she's been like, her character itself's been like, I think in 4 movies Black Panther has been introduced into it since Civil War, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Pretty cool. And, you know, it's nice to see that connection to Wakanda, given the fact that Wakanda's kind of up in the air. We have a lot of content that's supposed to be coming our way that has to do with Wakanda, but with Chadwick Boseman not being around and T'Challa not being around, it's going to be interesting to see how they handle that. And here's step 1, I guess.
Yeah. Especially since I'm sure that they had filmed, a large portion of the show has been filmed after he had died. So they obviously knew that they were going through with him on the story without acknowledging that.
So. Yeah. I think they probably immediately hit the ground running with plans, and those plans are probably what we're starting to see on screen.
Yeah.
So, we left Sharon Carter back in Madripoor being an art smuggler, or as Jerry hypothesized on our last show about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, perhaps, maybe, who could she be, Jerry? Is she Mephisto?
Yeah, she's Mephisto. I think we have a better chance of her being the power broker than we had every single person in Westview being Mephisto. So
yes,
my guess is that she is, just some of the subtle things that she said points to the idea that she's the power broker.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Or she runs the Power Broker Inc. Like, maybe she's not. Like I said, it doesn't have to be the specific person. It could just be this corporation. But I think she's in deeper than what she's giving the impression that she's just, I sell stuff so I can survive. No, I think it goes a lot further than that.
Yeah, no, she tries to give the impression like she's just an innocent young girl on the streets of Madripoor selling elote for pocket change.
Yeah.
When in reality.
If you notice every scene that you were in, she wasn't hiding from the people in the town. She's hiding from them. So it seems like everybody else is kind of already in on the plan. When she's in the bar, she doesn't pull her hood over to keep her appearance hidden from everybody inside the bar. She does it to keep her appearance hidden from them. When she's running around upstairs, she always seems like she's just a step ahead, as if she's getting off to where they're at before they get there. Which, I mean, when you're in the town, it says, the power broker is watching. And
right.
She's the person who's actually watching. I also just think that Zemo's been inside prison for, since Civil War. How did he know where that gun was at in that laboratory?
That is a very interesting point. That's a very interesting point. This is supposedly a place he's never been, and he should have no connection to it. But yeah, he went straight for it. Speaking of that scene, Zemo, why did he grab a gun, Jerry? What did he do?
he killed whatever the guy's name is, an eagle or whatever his name was.
Nagel. Yeah.
I also thought that it's poignant to say that she gave each of them those little earpieces. Nothing says that they all hear exactly the same conversation.
This is true.
And she didn't kill Eagle, whatever the hell his name was, until he didn't kill Nagel until she walked into the room. And It was as he's giving a description of what's going on to stop the story.
Right.
Why would a person like Zemo, whose whole thing is stopping, superpowered people, want to kill a guy off who's actually helping people become superpowered? You want all the information you can get out of them.
Right.
You kill him off if your leader just came in and that's what you were supposed to do.
Exactly. Yeah. And, I've had some interesting conversations with fellow nerds, surrounding this show. And the idea came up, what if the power broker is going to be the big connector that ends up connecting characters like Zemo, Kang, who's going to be coming up in Ant-Man Quantumania, possibly Doctor Doom, who we know we're going to see at some point. And maybe this is kind of the, she, if it is in fact Sharon, she's going to be kind of the glue that holds this sort of like Legion of Doom-esque sort of supervillain cabal together, which I thought was kind of a cool concept.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
I mean, who knows? Maybe it's not Sharon at all. Maybe it's a scroll.
It could be, because we do know that those are coming too. Yeah. So Dr. Nagel bites the dust. Dr. Nagel, of course, was a nod to the mad scientist who created Isaiah Bradley and the rest of the African-American super soldiers in World War II. Obviously, he does not have that role in this series, but kind of a neat little wink and a nod to the comic book history there, which kind of brings me to my next point. What do you think we're going to see in this next upcoming episode? This is a preview show after all. Do you think we're going to see any more references to Isaiah Bradley or even his grandson Elijah Bradley? Do you think we're going back that way at all, or we think
I still
maybe not yet?
Back there. I think what we're going to start seeing is the downfall of the new Captain America, John Walker. You saw that last scene where he's talking to Falcon and Bucky, and he says, stay out of my way. Then you see him this last episode, and he's becoming even more aggressive. I think that the serum is starting to change his personality on him. So I think we're going to start seeing a more aggressive Cap. Finally, that the government realizes they have a problem.
Yeah, and if you take a look at Jerry's fantastic character profile of John Walker and the profile that I just put up today, in fact, of Battlestar, aka Lamar Hoskins, in the comic books, there's a whole dynamic where John Walker kind of loses his composure, and Lamar Hoskins is kind of his conscience and sort of tries to stop him from going overboard. And I wonder, with the last episode, seeing Walker getting a little bit frustrated, I wonder if we're going to see that. I wonder if that's going to be on screen here on this program.
I see it's coming. I mean, obviously, it's kind of playing on both ends, because you have that Carly girl who's now starting to become a little bit more aggressive, which is now perfectly fine with killing cops, and the other people who maybe I don't know if they all have the serum or not, but they seem like they are bothered by what she had done. Yeah.
Everybody sort of looked at her like she had gone overboard just a little bit. Yeah. Speaking of Carly, one has to wonder if, she's going to sort of, we talked about this before, if she's going to sort of mirror John Walker in that she's going to outgrow her role as like a member of her organization by being more aggressive, where John Walker is kind of going the same route. He's getting more aggressive, and the government's going to have a problem with it. So, you kind of wonder if those two are going to have a parallel path.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there has to be an end game, I'm guessing, for play on the words, for where the whole Flag Smashers are going toward. I mean, I would assume that, they aren't just introducing these characters. It's similar to like Westview. Like you had Agatha, you have her story wrapped up, but she's not completely gone either. And so, what characters we really only have Carly who's making an impact in the show itself. I can't imagine that this is just after these 6 episodes are done, we don't see anything. So does she have a redemption story within these 6 episodes? I think it's the exact opposite with John Walker. I think that he's going to have a grace. See the opposite way.
Yeah. One of the concepts that's been floating around the internet a lot in these nerd circles that we tend to congregate in is the idea that this is going to be sort of the seed that gets planted that gives us the Thunderbolts. And we know that in the comic books, Baron Zemo was kind of the founder of the Thunderbolts, trying to pretend to be heroes so that he could do villainous things. And then you also have Bucky, who spent a lot of time as the leader of the Thunderbolts. And it makes me wonder if we're going to see, Battlestar and the new Captain America, who in the comic books we know becomes U.S. agent, and maybe Carly and maybe Zemo, all kind of having these roles of like, falling from grace and sort of having to build themselves back up. And maybe that kind of being the thing that binds this group together as the Thunderbolts. That's something I've seen kind of batted around. Like maybe they're all going to end up being a sort of Suicide Squad style, anti-hero group.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I thought another important throwaway line that maybe a lot of people didn't pay attention to, especially people who are more about just watching the movies and not really watching or knowing the backstory of different properties within the Marvel. When Baron Zemo says the thing about Sokovia crashed back down to the ground before it could be sifted through, basically, its neighboring countries, over. What do you think that means?
Well, Jerry, I'm glad you mentioned something about that. My background that I keep disappearing into because my lighting is terrible is Latveria. Latveria, for those of you who read the comic books, is the home of Doctor Doom, my very favorite Marvel villain. Sokovia is a fictional Eastern European country. Latveria is a fictional Eastern European country. It's not that big of a stretch to say that Latveria could be a neighboring country to Sokovia, and that line could have laid the groundwork for Doctor Doom to sort of kind of take over what that was going on in Sokovia, especially getting a hold of all of those little Ultrons that were laying around at the end of Age of Ultron. In the comic books, Doctor Doom has these wonderful little critters called Doombots. Perfect way to introduce Doombots would be to have a bunch of little Ultrons running around under Doom's control. I'm hoping, dude. Latveria.
Not only that, but you have to imagine the amount of vibranium that was left over from that, battle. Look how much money or how much trouble the government went to just to, take over Vision because of the worth is vibranium. What do you think happened to a country that has crashed back down? It's ripe for the picking, and you got somebody like Doom not far, to be able to scoop it all up.
That's right. I'm hoping if I even get to hear them mention Latveria during this show, I'm gonna squeal like a little schoolgirl. It's gonna be great. All right, so let's just kind of give our wish list for episode 4. Yeah, episode 4 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. If there's one thing that you want to see show up on this next episode, what is it?
Mephisto. On the next episode, I'm guessing that we need to actually, the whole show is based off the idea that the big bads are the Flag Smashers, and we've literally seen them fight the good guys for about 30 seconds so far. So I would like to see them, go back and kind of get a second chance. Maybe now they see that now that they've had a chance to actually fight them, they know what they need. It's more even kill with the fight. And obviously, I want to know what Wakanda is planning on doing. Do they stick around? Are they going to write off that this idea that Zemo's going to help them out? It seems like they're not just there for a 10-second scene. So
Yeah, the Wakandans don't strike me as the forgiving type, and I think with Zemo being responsible for so much unrest and strife in the MCU, specifically directed at Wakanda, I think they're going to want him, and it makes me wonder if Bucky and Sam have already been at odds with the United States government. They're at odds with Walker and Hoskins. They're at odds somewhat with Sharon. She's not completely sold on them being on her side.
yeah,
Are they going to piss off Wakanda too? I mean, it makes sense. They just seem to be leaving this wake of people like being mad at them. So it could be. For me, of course, I'm the one that was always like, begging for Mephisto when we were watching WandaVision. So for me, it's like, of course, I want to see this mention of Latveria and the presence of Doctor Doom, but I'm just really pulling that out of both of my cheeks. For me, yeah, for me, the biggest thing that I want to see is I want to see Zemo really pulling one over on the heroes, and I want to see him come out of this as a big bad. Zemo is not a cute companion type character. He's in the comics, he's an elite who is bent on world domination. He's like friendly with the Nazis. Like he's kind of an a-hole.
yeah,
As much as I liked Dancing Baron Zemo, he's not Groot. He's not
yeah.
a cute little tree man. He's a jerk. And like I want to see the sort of like last minute kind of like, haha, I was a evil Nazi sympathizer all along. And I want to see him kind of like turn and be the big bad that he's supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, he's already killed T'Chaka. He's killed that guy inside the bathtub. I mean, the man's not like, just some, you know, nightlife living, just like
Right.
petty theft kind of,
Oh,
criminal. I mean, he's a murderer.
yeah. Don't let the ski mask fool you. This guy's not robbing 7-Elevens.
And who knows, maybe you will see Latveria because, like, they do show that scene where he's in front of a memorial for Sokovia. So,
Yes. Yes. I don't know. You know what I know we're going to see, Jerry? You know what I'm guaranteeing? I'm calling it right now. I'm guaranteeing it. Are you ready? We're going to see a great episode.
yeah,
Yeah. See that? That's a guarantee you can take to the bank. It's no Mephisto.
it was the worst episode.
Yeah, I know. It's just going to be like utter tripe. It's going to be just,
Godzilla versus Kong.
oh God. Oh my God. We're going to have to, we're going to have to unpack that.
I can't review something I can't make through.
Yeah. It's a good narcoleptic sort of, oh, I haven't been able to sleep for, 4 days straight. Let me try watching Godzilla versus Kong. We'll save that whole thing for another show. All right, guys. What do you guys hope to see in this upcoming episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Let us know in the comments below. Follow us on social media at We Them Nerds on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And don't forget, we are giving away this Baron Zemo Funko Pop. He doesn't dance, but he will sit on your desk and be cute.
He does collect dust.
He does collect. He's a dust collector. That's what all of my Funko Pops do. All the dust. All right, nerds. Be good. Be good to each other.
Very nerdy.
Later, nerds.